Yeah, find wherever it is you're happy to begin. Kind of, you know me, we start with the chilled and the comfortable, and then we can go from there. Oh, and I've got DOMs like nobody's business, so nobody's in worse shape than me this morning. Okay, so if you're using my music, feel free to add that in, or your own, or something else. And let yourself spread out and ease into things. Baby steps. Maybe take a little stretch just to kind of release any of that immediate tension before finding somewhere where you can pause and reground. And really allow yourself to be here. You know, so often we're in one place, but we're thinking about other things or planning. So rather than doing 700 things at once, instead taking that right down. Focus on where your body is, on grounding into the earth beneath you. Checking in with the quality of the air around you. And on each breath in and out. And start to take a little mental journey through the body. Start at the top of the head and slowly start to check in. Follow the length of the spine and just notice those areas of tightness or stickiness, aches and pains. Really kind of explore the landscape of the body this morning. And maybe as we continue to ground in stillness, in that stillness, sometimes there's this greater awareness that starts to kind of percolate, and you become kind of more aware of how you're actually feeling this morning instead of pushing on to the next thing. So check in with how you feel and where your energy level's at today. And ask yourself maybe what is it that's brought you to your mat today and what it is that you need from your practice. Maybe setting a particular intention for today's class. Or maybe just having in mind to be a bit kind to yourself this morning at the start of the week. Even if you hold child's pose or shavasana for the next hour, if that's what you need for today, that's exactly where you can be. And then I want you to take the deepest breath in that you've taken all morning. And let it go. And again. Four more. And then allow your breath to slowly find that natural cadence and rhythm again. And if you've closed the eyes, start to blink them open now. And if you're seated, start to come down onto the back and just going nice and kind of easily, gently. And plant the feet to the floor, knees bent. Feet can be either kind of hip width or a bit wider maybe, and just start to roll the hips from side to side, letting the knees just kind of sag with the natural weight of the leg. And as you're coming through that center point, so you can really kind of hug the navel back to the spine, back into the mat. So you're really kind of rounding in as you come through that center point. And then start to draw back to more of a grounded point with the feet. Start to hug the knees in. And then take the arms wide. And you want to really picture a clock face painted on the back. So 12 o'clock up at the shoulder blades and 6 o'clock down toward the tailbone. And start to draw over to the side. Shoulders stay grounded. And then round the knees down towards that 6 o'clock point. So you can hit every number on the back as you round down. Knees are going to have to come further from the chest there. And then draw up the opposite side. And then back into the chest. And continue that nice, smooth, even circle. Shoulders still grounded as you start to slowly explore that circle, as much control as you can. And then the next time that you draw knees in toward the chest, pause and start to reverse the direction of that circle. Still that same controlled movement. Still nice and easy in your breath, but this kind of double feature of a little bit of self-massage, but also starting to fire up the core a little bit, starting to bring a little bit more body awareness to where we are in space. Just one more circle in this direction. And then start to take that right foot down to the ground and extend that left heel up and out to the ceiling. Keep some softness to the knee. Take the hand behind the thigh. And as you exhale, just gently drawing the leg in towards you. And as you inhale, you can expand into the belly, release off a little bit. And as you exhale, really relaxing into that stretch. That right knee can stay bent, or you can slide that right leg all the way forwards. It's just up to you how that might change, how things feel in the hips and the legs there. Really use your breath to carry some of that openness into the muscles. So let go of where the tension is there. One more full breath here. And then you're just going to start to open out through the hip. It's up to you if you keep the leg straight or if you want to bend into the knee a bit more. But with that left hand giving the leg a bit of support, start to open outward through the hip. So this right side is going to stay grounded as much as you can. So really engage through the belly as that left hip opens and this right side stays in this nice, straight, grounded alignment. If the leg is straight on that left side, keep pressing out through the heel. One more full breath here. And then start to draw back through to center. You're going to swap sides. So the leg is going to stay the same leg, but you're going to take the opposite hand to the leg. Again, option to keep the leg straight or the knee bent. It's up to you. And then we're rolling over into a twist. And see if you can really exhale as you're drawing the knee toward the floor and just kind of allowing some of those maybe little pops or stretches through the low back to release out. And then slowly easing back through to center. Nice left foot plants, right leg extends upwards. And again here, a bit of softness through that right knee. Take hands behind the thigh, and as you exhale, encourage the leg in towards you. And that left leg might stay where it is, or you might extend it out. Depends how it feels for you in either place. Nice and easy in your breath still. One more inhale and exhale where you are. And then start to take, left hand could come to hip just to keep you a bit more grounded and aware in that left side, but right hand to the inner leg. And again, you might choose to keep the leg straight, or you might bend more if you are short on space in whichever place. And then start to open outwards through that right hip. Keep extending out through the heel if the leg is straight. Still keeping that nice flexion through the ankle, whether the leg is straight or the knee is bent. One more breath here. And then starting to draw back through to center, leg can be straight or knee bent. And then left hand comes to the leg as you start to open out to your twist. Trying to keep the shoulders grounded, really exhale into it as you draw over. And then slowly easing back through to center. Nice. Take feet back to the floor and then start to draw the feet together and let the knees fall open. So those inner thighs and hip muscles opening out a little bit. And that might be enough for you, especially at kind of this time on a Monday morning. Or you might want to press down through the outsides of the feet, curl up through the tailbone and start to lift the bum. That might feel like a really nice opener across the front of those hips. And just pulsing here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and then slowly letting the bum lower and then really relaxing through those inner thighs. Shoulders nice and grounded. And then in your own time, slowly squeezing those inner thighs back towards each other. Nice, hug the knees in. And extend the legs upwards. So pressing up out of the feet. And you can either kick the heels up or you can spread the toes, but really energizing the legs somehow. And extend the arms back behind. And as you exhale, pull in through the core, reaching hands to toes. Inhale to extend out. Nice. Here for 9, 8, 7, 6. Nice control. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice. And then you can have arms extended or behind you, or you can tuck the hands under the bum for like a little bit more kind of back support. And as you inhale, you're lowering heels toward the floor. And as you exhale, really pull in through those lower abs to float the legs up. Nice. And again, we're here for 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one. Unhook the hands from the bum if that's where they are. Hug knees to chest, hands behind thighs, tuck the nose in, and start to rock and roll your way up and down the back, coming up to your seat. And then we're going to come straight over to hands and knees from here. Spread the fingers nice and wide on the mat. Tops of feet pressed to the floor. Find that nice tabletop stack. And as you plant down into the ground, gripping the mat and pressing out of it. So inhale, lengthen the back. And as you exhale, rounding, curling, squeezing in. Inhale, belly drops. Shoulders back, chest lifting. Nice. Exhale to round. And just finding your own breath here that's going to carry you through from one to the next. And it might be that you want to add the side rolls. Completely up to you. Just remembering that if you are kind of rotating around that axis, you want to reverse the direction after a few rounds. Just being nice and equal as much as you can. We're wonky enough without having to do it ourselves. Nice. And then start to find stillness here. Start to press bum to heels. And have those arms as far forwards as you can kind of reach and grip. And then start to round forwards, shoulders over wrists. So just starting to kind of warm up through the wrists, the hands, the shoulders, the core a little bit more. Keep that core and the bum nice and tight as you're coming forwards. Nice and controlled. And then the next time you come forwards, hug those elbows in super tight and start to lower through onto the front. Just press tops of feet to mat, hug the elbows in tight. Fingers kind of lined up with where the chest meets the floor. And keep pressing the elbows down and back towards the heels. Squeeze and lift. Inhale, floating chest just a little away from the floor. And as you exhale, lowering smoothly back down again. Inhale to lift. And exhale to lower. You can come a little bit higher this last time if you want to. Still squeezing from the bum and the belly, but a bit more pressure through the hands, and then sending bum back to heels. And elongating back to your tabletop. Really press the bum back to the heels. Find all that length, that lovely space. And if it feels good here, rather than kind of maintaining this kind of, what would we call it? Just a normal child's pose, imaginative. You can walk the hands over toward the left side. And then pull that right bum cheek down and back towards that right heel as you press the ground away with both hands, but especially that right hand, and really elongate through that whole right side. And then coming back through to center and just exploring that same thing on the opposite side. So as hands walk to right, that left sit bone pulls back and press out through that left hand. And then start to walk the hands back through to more of a central position once again. Make sure the fingertips feel anchored. You feel strong here. Start to tuck the toes and start to send the hips up and back and slowly unfold out to your down facing dog. And just check on the shoulders, check they feel stable. Widen the feet or even widen the hands if that's more comfortable for you. Maybe see how it feels to just explore some space through the neck there if things feel tight in the shoulders. And you might start to be pedaling in space here, especially if there's kind of tightness through the muscles in the feet and the calves there. Slowly pressing each heel back toward the ground. Find a nice, still, grounded spot. Take a big breath in through the nose. And exhale out through the mouth. And again. One more. Start to shift your gaze forwards, looking towards the thumbs. And slowly start to walk the feet up toward the hands. So really taking your time, planting each foot really carefully. When you can't walk any further forwards, soften the knees, let the upper body relax down onto the thighs, and really spread the toes wide, nice and grippy. And see how it feels to sort of rock your weight forwards and backwards, so from heels to toes. How does that shift things in your balance? How does that feel? Do you feel like you're able to lift the hips any higher to find a little bit more length? And just kind of testing how stable things feel. And then you might start to ease things from side to side a little bit as well, especially if there's tightness in the kind of the IT band area, the outsides of those legs. Nice. Soften up the knees. Press out of the heels and slowly unroll up to stand. Nice, big inhale, sweeping the arms up above the head. And as you exhale, take hands through to heart center, slot the shoulders back. If you need to step forwards here, then you can do. Just making sure you've got, enough space behind Toes spread, heels ground, tuck the bum under, core in. Inhale, reaching up. And as you exhale, melt the knees, melt the elbows, slowly releasing back through to your forward fold. Hands to shins or fingers to floor. And as you inhale, we're going to pick up through the belly. So lift the belly off the thighs, see if you can press back through the sit bones and lengthen the chest forward. So really engage the legs. And as you exhale, folding into softness again, really ragdoll through. Inhale to engage and lift and lengthen. And as you exhale, softening out. And then last one. And then melting forwards. Nice. You're gonna keep that left foot planting. Fingertips stay grounded and keep a bit of a bend in the knees. That's definitely key to comfort. Start to extend that right leg back and see if you can lengthen that left leg forwards as you do that, and then take a big step back with the right toes. Left knee hugging to the chest as you go, and then sit into your lunge. Nice, let that back knee lower, top of that back foot can ground here, really squeeze through the glutes, press into the feet. If you feel confident, you can inhale your way up. Nice, exhale, sitting into the hips a bit more, softening the shoulders a little bit more. And then start to slowly bow it forwards, hands around front foot, tuck the back toes, and lift the back knee. Hands are going to take your weight around that front foot. Start to step that left foot back through down dog and pause it here. Press out through the heels and press out through those shoulders. Then start to lift onto tiptoes, round it forwards, coming to your plank. Heels back, core really tucked. Knees can lower. And you can always take the knees down. I tend to more now because my shoulder is just not in a good place generally. So you can do you. Elbows tuck in and smoothly lower down onto the chest. Curl the tailbone. Elbows tuck. Inhale, breathing up away from the mat. And as you exhale, taking bum back to heels. Take it back through to your down dog. And you're going to keep that right foot planting. Sweep that left leg all the way back up again. Hug that left knee in. And then scoop it up high and really try and round into the upper back as you come forwards. Shoulders over wrist. Plant that left foot down. So just where we were before, sit into that lunge. Keep that back knee lifted. Press through the heel. Open up through the chest. See if you can press down through that left heel and inhale your way up. Exhale, sitting into your lunge. Really strengthen through the legs. And then bow forward, hands around front foot. Keep looking forward, send that momentum forward. Start to come light on those back toes as you eventually send that right leg up and back behind. And then curl the nose in, curl that right knee and scrunch into this little ball as you plant that right foot back through. And relax that through to your forward fold. Soften up the knees, ground the heels. Inhale, opening up. And as you exhale, hands coming through out of center, shoulders drawing back. Nice. Second side, inhale, lengthening up. And as you exhale, bowing. Nice. Hands to either shins or fingertips to floor. Again, as you inhale, you want to pick up, draw up through those front thighs, press back through the sit bones. And as you exhale, softening and relaxing completely. Inhale to lift and engage. Shoulders back, sit bones back. Exhale to bow. One more. Nice. This time, right foot stays planted, left leg extends all the way back. Press back, back, back. And then keep that right knee cradling into the chest as you take a big step back, and you can let that back knee lower here. So again, kind of get grounded in that front heel. Make sure you feel confident and comfortable. You can pause here or you can inhale your way up. Shoulders back, press down into the feet. Nice. One more breath here. And then bow it forwards, hands around front foot, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. Nice, hands are gonna come down around that front foot, really press out of the hands and step that right foot back through to down dog, press out of the heels, strengthen through the shoulders. So to lift forwards onto tiptoes, rounding through, loads of control from the core, shoulders over wrists. Nice, again, knees can lower, or you can keep them lifted. Your core, elbows squeeze in tight, shoulders and elbows back, coming slowly through. Press through the big toes, squeeze the bum, elbows in as you lift, and as you exhale, back through to your down facing dog. Left foot grounds, right leg sweeps up and back behind you. Hug that right knee in, scoop it in tight, and then round forwards. Take that right foot through. Keep that back knee lifting, but send all the energy through that back heel. Hug the thighs in, and as you press down, start to open up, relax the shoulders. Really engage that back leg. Nice, slowly start to hinge forwards, hands back around that front foot. Look forward, all that momentum coming forward, start to lift the back toes, and then eventually lengthen forward with the chest, curl the nose to the knee, round in, and then plant the foot down. Let yourself relax forwards, toes spread wide and really anchoring you down. And the knees softening, press down into the mat and open on up. Nice, hands coming through to heart center. Lovely. So from here, still at the top of the mat, still really mindful of where we're kind of placing our feet. So we're going to stay grounded through that left foot. And see if you can lift so just kind of bending at the knee and coming up onto the tips of the right toes. So starting to shift your weight more into that left side. Try not to lock out through this left standing leg. Pick a spot on the floor that feels kind of comfortable to rest your gaze on. It could be ahead of you on the wall or something if that's your location. And I want you to inhale and draw that right knee in and reach the arms up. Keep that right ankle nice and flexed. Nice. And then you can either lower the foot, but you can reach the arms back behind you and extend that right leg back. Keep that left knee a little bit bent again, nice and engaged. And again, as you inhale, draw the arms up, draw the knee in with you, knee to belly. And then again, sweeping back or planting the foot down. One more. Nice. If the leg is swept back, you can hold it here. If the foot is on the floor, take fingertips to floor, then extend that right leg back. Then same as before, take a big step back, right toes come down behind you. And as you inhale, open up to that high lunge. Relax the shoulders. See if you can cactus the arms. And as you inhale, lift the chest, draw the elbows down and back to really open up there. And as you exhale, draw palms and elbows in. See if you can round them to the belly. Nice, keep those legs super strong. Inhale, opening up just one more time. And as you exhale, rounding. And then once you're rounded in, start to take hands back to the mat. Let that back knee come back down again. So back to our low lunge. Right hand stays grounded. Left shoulder opens out. Really find that lift from the belly. Spiral your way up and maybe even reaching that left arm all the way back. If it's in your practice, maybe even catching that back foot and gently squeezing heel to bum. If that's a lot in the quad, you can release out. Keep that chest nice and open. That nice twist through the back. And then start to release out. Hands inside that left foot. Heel to left foot a bit wider if that's more comfortable. Inhale, chest opens up, shoulders back. And as you exhale, pull back through the glutes and lengthen through that left leg a little bit more. Does not need to be straight. Inhale, come forwards, shoulders back, chest opening. And as you exhale, draw it back. One more time. Nice. Nice, and then start to come forwards again, tuck the back toes once again, and then turn down through that back heel. So your right toes are now pointing to that right long edge of the mat. And we're going to kind of almost swap the legs here. So right now our left knee is bent, our right leg is straight. We're going to change that up. We're going to start to bend into the right knee and straighten into the left knee. And walk the hands back towards the right foot. So walking your way back to the wrong side of the mat. Nice, you might want to sit a bit taller here, or you might prefer to bow forwards. It just depends where you want to be working with your Skandasana today. Breath is nice and steady, whichever kind of shape you're exploring from this base position. Nice, and we're going to start to face the back of the mat, not for very long. So start to walk hands toward that right side, right toes, pivot out so they now face the back and that back heel lifts. So back in our lunge on the wrong side, keep grounding through that right heel and see if you can inhale your way all the way up to your lunge here and then sitting back down into it. Breathe into the hips, nice and strong through the core and through those thigh muscles. Start to bow forwards here, hands come around that front foot. Left hand comes to mat and see if you can start to reach that right shoulder up and open and roll onto the outside edges of those feet. And maybe you can start to drop that left hip a little bit, breathing into this right thigh and right glute. And then start to lift up and over, come back through to face the back of the mat before starting to walk your way back around to that left side. And when we come to face the long side of the mat, I want you to pause, adjust the feet so that you feel comfortable in your wide leg forward fold. Ground it down, and as you inhale, lift and lengthen. Chest open, sit bones press back. Exhale to bow forward, sending the hips high. Nice, inhale, opening up. And exhale to bow. And it depends what you want to explore from here. It might be those kind of side to side lunges, or it might be that you want to visit a few little twists here. Just see what feels good today. And then from here, we're going to start to walk the hands back towards the left toes. Left toes pivoting with you, back heel lifting. Nice. Hands take your weight. Sweep that left leg all the way up and back behind you. And then you could keep it lifted or you could lower the foot. It's completely up to you before you round through to your plank, nice and strong. And then lower through your chaturanga. Foot could still be lifted if you want until you lower. And then inhale your way up to your back bend. And as you exhale, take it back through to your down facing dog. Start to shift your gaze forwards, and we're going to take a really slow walk back up to the top of the mat here. Really deliberate, really controlled. Folding forwards. And I want you to start to face the toes outwards, and you can even shuffle the feet wider as well here. That's just for ease of viewing. And then start to sit the bum down into your Malasana squat. And if it doesn't feel good or possible even to kind of sit in stillness, make sure you keep that just kind of nice fluidity to things, so you're not kind of overstaying your welcome. If it's possible or even comfortable to ground the heels, then you can do. Stretching out the ankles, the inner thighs, the outer thighs. Softening up the shoulders. Nice. And then start to let the head bow, let the sit bones lift, use the hands for support as you start to lengthen the legs up and back. Heel to the feet, that's more of a neutral place. Knees soften up, and as you press down, inhaling your way up again. Exhale, hands coming through to heart center. And then again, starting from standing at the top of the mat, your right foot is going to keep you rooted. And start to just lift onto the tips of the left toes. So feel that weight shift into that right leg, but keep a little bend in that right knee so we're not kind of locked out and really rigid. As you inhale, pull that left knee in and up to the core with you. And as you exhale, either plant the foot down or sweep the arms back and press the heel back. Nice, coming up for 2. And again, press it back. And then last one. And again, if the foot's coming down, start to take hands to floor before you extend that left leg back. Then take a big step back with that left foot. Inhale your way up to your high lunge. Exhale, sitting into it. Nice, really grounding down here. Here for 3, 2, and 1. Start to bow forwards. Nice. Let that back knee come down. Nice, left hand to mat. Start to sweep that right shoulder open. Really lift into that twist. An option even to reach the hand all the way back, to catch the foot, and to gently squeeze heel to bum. See how that feels. Breathe into the front of that left hip, whichever variation you're exploring. And then slowly start to release, hands inside, right foot, heel toe that right foot just a little bit wider. And as you inhale, shoulders back, chest opening up. And as you exhale, draw back through the bum, lengthen through that right leg. And then coming forwards for that last time, start to tuck the back toes, lift that back knee and walk the hands around to that kind of long edge of the mat. And start to then straighten the right leg and bend into that left knee. So we come and sit down into our Skandasana, facing, not quite facing the back of the mat just yet, but easing our weight over to the back of the mat. And you might prefer to sit tall or to bow forwards here. And then we're going to kind of spiral all the way to the left now and start to really face the back of the mat there. Right hand stays grounded. Left shoulder opens out. And see how it feels to roll onto the outside edges of the feet. To drop that right hip and breathe into that fallen warrior. And then start to lift up and out. Hands come back inside, left foot. And then to leave, start to walk the hands around to the right again, to that long side of the mat. Ground the feet where you feel comfortable. As you inhale, lengthen forwards, chest lengthening out of the pelvis. And as you exhale, melting the head down, sending the sit bones high. And then slowly start to walk the hands back around to the right foot, to the top of the mat. Nice. Hands take your weight. Sweep that right leg up and back behind. And then instead here, draw that right knee toward that right wrist. So lowering down towards our pigeon stretch here. If you prefer to take pigeon on the back, you're obviously welcome to. Otherwise, seeing if you can just find your way to your pigeon setup. It might feel different today than it does other days. Just check in with where you are now. And then if you've got the space or the desire, you can slowly start to walk the hands a little further forwards. See if you can really square those hips. Right hip pulling back, left hip drawing forwards. Last 20 seconds here. Slowly start to walk the hands in. Hands come to under shoulders, back toes tuck, back knee lifts. Sweep that right foot back to your down dog and take a moment here. You might pedal out through the feet. Whatever you can do to soften things out there. And then start to ground through right foot, reach that left leg up and back. Hug that left knee through. And angle that left knee down. And again, scooching that right hip back just enough so you can kind of sit your weight a bit more comfortably. Less weight forward on those hands. Press through the top of the back foot to keep that leg nice and active. And when you're ready, if you want to go there, you can slowly start to walk the hands and slowly kind of ease on down. Coming back to your breath here. Choosing to let go rather than hold on. Last 3 breaths here. And then slowly start to walk the hands back in. Lean to the left and use the hands for support as you start to draw that back leg forwards. And then if you need to add layers back in as you start to kind of cool down here, make yourself comfortable, and in your own time, you can start to lower back into the mat. So just kind of making your own way there. And if you're wanting to take legs up the wall or anything, get anything else involved, feel free to move around. Or you might be happy just to give the knees a last squeeze in. Maybe gently easing from side to side, just like we did at the very start of the practice. Any last little stretches or wriggles or opportunities to kind of explore and release. And when you can find a place where you're comfortable, where you don't need to hold on quite so tightly, let yourself stretch out here. Allow yourself to be completely supported by the mat. And know that you can stay here for as long as it serves you. And this place is here waiting for you whenever you need it. But if you're ready to leave, to come back to yourself, you can start to take small wriggles through the toes and the fingers, as well as deepening each breath. Slowly start to gather the knees back to the chest. Maybe have a last little roll around, and then slowly making your way back to a comfortable seat. And sitting tall, softening the shoulders back, and giving yourself just a moment to ground and to notice how things feel now. Take a last deep breath in through the nose and let it go. Thank you so much, guys.